David here from Freedom Founders. I was in a Facebook forum thread, one about dentists, and one of the posters posted this actual question and said, "Hey, look, I take home about $300,000 per year for my practice. I'm in my mid 50s, and I just don't seem to ever have enough money, extra money, to actually put into any kind of investment. I'm way behind the eight ball, and I'm getting concerned in my mid 50s that time's running out. My body can't keep going at this pace. I'm still putting some kids through school. What does a guy do?" And it was fun to watch all the different responses to this very open, very vulnerable post about, hey, I'm in this dilemma. First and foremost, it's not about how much you make. It's how much you keep, and then beyond that, how much you keep and put into different buckets. The problem that most people have, it matters not how much money you make. I don't care how much you make trading time for dollars. If you make a lot, middle amount, it matters not. Making more money for this particular person isn't going to make a bit of difference. Why? Because the habits aren't there to get a certain amount of money, a certain percentage off the table before anything else and get it working for him. So if you always are working your whole life trading time for dollars, even though you can do that and keep your head above water and provide a good living for your family, the problem is if you don't have any constructs, any frameworks in terms of how you set aside a certain percentage of money and then where to put that money to get it working for you, you're never going to get ahead of the eight ball. Making more money, I'll say it again, is not going to help this person. Trying to work harder, faster, longer, the lifestyle creep and probably some of the overhead creep in the business will just keep taking over. There's a great book by a good friend of mine, a mastermind member, a friend of mine, Mike McAllowitz. He's an author of many books. The book I'm referring to, though, is called Profit First. In that book, Mike describes how to get away from the official accounting, GAAP accounting, GAAP, GAAP accounting, which is built for financial people like accountants and CPAs because they have to follow certain rules, certain financial rules, but serves the owner, the business owner, not at all. McAllowitz says, look, you've got to take your sales, your top line revenue, and instead of subtracting expenses next and then coming up with what's left over as profit, you need to turn that around. It says take your sales, your top line sales, take out a definitive amount percentage for profit, and you've got to decide what that's going to be, but you might start as low as 2%, 5%, 10%. Start somewhere and pull that money off first, and then what that leaves is how much you can afford to pay for expenses, which starts to keep everything in order. Again, there's Parkinson's law that says we will expand the scope of anything we have in front of us, time or assets or capital, revenue streams. We'll expand it to the maximum, unless we have some constraints, some buckets, some positioning set apart to keep a certain amount of money off the table. So take the profit out first. Get in the habit of pulling profit out first. Now, once you pull that profit out, now you've got to put it somewhere where it's going to actually work for you. I would either put it back into the business, because you can get a huge ROI if you invest in a great business. So that's the number one place. Once you've maxed out your business, I would then put it into other alternative investments. A thread that I talked about the other day, what are alternative investments? I'm not a believer in the stock market. I just think that's a fool's game. I think it's a place where the financial people on Wall Street, along with Congress, have built this construct called the 401k, and everybody's supposed to put their money in there and get their tax deduction, and it's all supposed to be great. I think it's a terrible way to invest. People abdicate their future by doing that, and I think you've got to learn how to take that profit from your business, profit first, put that into either back in your business or businesses or on other alternative investments like real estate. Start building up your plan B. But profit first has got to be where it's got to go. You can't just keep ratcheting up your lifestyle, trying to outrun that lifestyle. It won't happen. It won't happen. I know too many people who live great lifestyles, but they've got nothing left at the end of the day, and then they are wondering what happened when they're in their mid 60s, late 60s, going in their 70s, and they still have debt, and they have no equity, they have no net worth, they have no real investments to let them start to slow down, transition out. It's a sad, sad story. Happens to many. Don't let it happen to you. Remember, you've always got to stay focused on your freedom. I'll see you next time.